Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to Undisputed live from Los Angeles. I'm Jen Hale, here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys. Did anything
How you doing today, Skip? Skip, how you doing?
What's so funny?
How you doing, Skip?
You all fired up about the Nets?
Yeah, you know what's going to happen.
Oh.
You know what's about to happen in about 24 hours, don't you, Skip?
I don't know.
You do know.
Help me out.
Okay.
Help me out.
Okay.
Yeah, help me
We
out.
about to have a 2, a 6, and a 23.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he'll always be two.
Don't do
to
that,
me.
Skip. Skip, don't do that. That he the man done changed teams. He
Has he?
apologized.
Yeah.
So let's let it go. We're going to let bygones be bygones.
Not me. Here we go.
We have a ton to get to with free agency today, but let's start with the biggest move of the day yesterday. After months of rumors, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving both headed to Brooklyn. Woj reports KD will sign a 4-year, $164 million deal, while Kyrie will sign for 4 years and $141 million. Both contracts less than the max. That way, the Nets can also sign DeAndre Jordan. Durant had interest in the Knicks. However, James Dolan reportedly not prepared to sign him to a max deal because of that Achilles injury. KD is expected to miss all of next season. So, Shannon, how surprised are you that both KD and Kyrie decided to go to Brooklyn?
I'm not surprised at all, Skip. This was, for the most part, most people thought KD was going to leave, and then somewhere shortly before the All-Star game or during the All-Star game, we started hearing the rumblings that KD and Kyrie were going to be a package deal. Now, they couldn't settle on the team. A lot of people thought it was Brooklyn. Some thought it was the Knicks. Come to find out, KD kind of wanted to go to the Knicks. Kyrie wanted to go to Brooklyn. They ended up going together to the Brooklyn Nets. But I'm not surprised at all, Skip. And I said this before. I thought the Nets had the better of the two rosters. They have everything better other than the building. Because when you talk about the Knicks, you talk about Madison Square Garden. Ali Frazier fought there, and Billy Joel sold it out, and Jay-Z showed. Oh, you get all this.
Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone sold it out. But when it comes down to basketball, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you play. It matters the brand of basketball and the organization setup. The Nets have everything that's better. They're better run, better coach. I don't know. I think David Fizdale's a better coach.
I think so. Go ahead.
But I will say this. I just felt the Nets had the better of the pieces. And Skip, I've said this before. The 30th was the day that, people started, you started hearing stuff creep out, and then the day where you guys can sign. But these deals have been in the works for months. These agents have been talking to these teams. Skip, nobody's doing a 5-year, $180 million deal in an hour. These guys have already had, and when guys opt out of contracts for $25, $30 million, they know they got something lined up. Their agents have assured them, we got Team A that's willing to give you multiple year deals at basically that same money. Harrison Barnes opting out of $25 million, Skip? Yeah, when you got 4 years, 88 coming down the line. Al Horford. There's a reason why Big Al opted out of that. Because he knew his agent had informed him, we got something better.
Okay.
But Skip, I'm not surprised in any stretch, because what we started hearing is that KD and Kyrie are very close. They might be as close as any other two players in the league, though they never played together. But what we're starting to see, Skip, if you want to get a guy to play with you, go to the Olympics. Because where was that Miami Heat thing fostered? LeBron, D-Wade, Bosh at the 08 Olympics.
Right.
Where was this fostered? At the Rio Olympics. So I am not surprised whatsoever. I don't know how true it is, but everybody says that the Knicks would not give KD, because nobody saw his medicals. Basically, you buy it, Skip, I got a car for sale, I ain't let you see it, you buy it as is. It might have an engine, it might not. Might have a back seat, it might not. Do you want it? And I'm charging you an absorbent amount of money. It says James Dolan didn't feel comfortable. But Skip, I can understand that. Because normally an injury of this magnitude, it normally takes like 2 years after the injury. So he's not going to possibly play till he's 32, and it might not be until he's 33 that we see the KD that we last saw. But I'm not surprised by this. This had been in the works for at least 3 to 4 months, and it came to fruition. I think the big shock is not that they paired, is that they paired together in Brooklyn as opposed to the Knicks.
Which is why I remain shocked over this. I still can't wrap my head around it. And after I slept on it for the night, the harder I think about it, the worse it gets. I don't understand it. In the end, it was about Kyrie and friendship, as you say.
Yeah.
But Kevin's still too young to opt for just friendship. Kevin Durant just made a huge mistake to me. And I don't understand it because in the end, if you told me a month ago that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving would wind up signing with the Nets, I would have said, yeah, and pigs are going to fly. Because if I told you that a month ago, before we heard any of this, you would have laughed at it. It's impossible what just happened. And I'm going to remind everybody, this is for our younger viewers out there. The legacy move for Kevin Durant was obviously to go to the Knicks. If you're not going to stay with Golden State, which was on the table and you were pushing for that, you thought that would be the obvious move, right? But if, barring that, if you're going to choose somewhere else to go, it has to be the Knicks. Because I know the kids out there right now think of the Knicks as this sorry punchline of a franchise, this embarrassing laughing stock, this disaster of an unlovable loser. That's what the Knicks are in recent memory.
Yes.
Or really, for about 20 years, it's been that way.
Basically,
right?
in Kevin Durant's lifetime, Skip, he doesn't remember the Knicks like you remember the Knicks.
I got it. But just for the record, they are the biggest sleeping giant in all of sports. There's nothing close to those Knicks. You could argue the Cubs used to be the Knicks, but this is the Knicks. They play in the most hallowed arena in all of sports, and it ain't even close, right? It is the Mecca. It is Madison Square Garden. It is entertainment personified because of all the superstars in all forms of entertainment who have played the palace that is Madison Square Garden. Right. Everybody wants to go there. Every opponent wants to have his best game at Madison Square Garden. I will give you, they have the worst owner in sports, but that has been slightly canceled by a very good coach in David Fizdale.
Yeah, I like Fizz.
And if you look at Scott Perry's track record, they're a fairly new GM. He's been there 2 years. He has a resume behind him. He helped build the Pistons championship team and that run that they had.
Yes.
Okay, so I respect him and I respect what they could be, and I don't respect the fact that Kevin said no to this. And I get it, and ESPN reported that they wouldn't offer the max to Kevin Durant because of injury history. I'm going to get to that in just a minute because you did make a strong point. He does have injury history, and he's a pretty big risk right now. Okay, I get that part. But it also came clear later in the evening that Kevin Durant and Kyrie took less to go to the Nets so that they could get their other friend, if we can go banana boat for those three guys. They haven't actually ridden a banana boat to my knowledge, but they all belong on a banana boat. Those three do. Right. DeAndre Jordan, who played briefly with the Knicks last year, but they had to get him under the cap at $10 million, which is probably more than he's worth right now, but he's their friend.
Right.
So to get him under, they all took, those two took a little less.
Right.
Okay, so would that mitigate the circumstance a little bit? The Knicks are saying, well, we can't, Kevin, go to the max. Well, if I'm Kevin Durant, I don't care how much they pay me because, as you have pointed out many times, he has so many lucrative investments in Silicon Valley that remain in operation. Just because he's an absentee owner now doesn't mean anything. He's fine. He can run them from a distance, right? And he has made so much money in his career. This was legacy. This is your chance to go there and revive a sleeping giant that hasn't won a championship since 1973. This was your chance to win another championship with the Knicks that would obliterate all the criticism you got for leaving Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City to join forces with the guys that had just come from 3-1 down to beat you, Steph, Clay, Draymond, right?
Yes.
This is a chance. If you won a couple of championships with the Knicks, you'd need Kyrie along also, but if you had both chosen the Knicks, you could have started making the case in the end that you were the second best player in the history of basketball to Michael Jordan. That's how big an opportunity you just left on the table for what?
You know what it's for?
I think it's just friendship. No, seriously.
That's what it's about.
I think it's what he never could connect with in Golden State. He went there thinking, maybe I'll become friends with Steph, and they couldn't become friends, right?
But we're going to talk about that a little later.
Okay, we're going to talk about it later, but they never quite clicked. And he went there thinking, maybe Draymond will become my best friend. And they had a terrible falling out, which led to some terrible comments made by Draymond. So he felt like he kind of had to go his own way last year in Golden State, right?
Yeah.
He was a man on an island, and sometimes you could see it in the way they played or didn't play, right? Okay, so he's saying, at this stage of my career, I opt for Kyrie and DeAndre. Well, here's the shock to me. I think Kyrie is the alpha here, because we kept hearing for, I don't know, a couple of weeks that it was nets for Kyrie. And I kept thinking, Kyrie, are you going to go this alone? Because I couldn't imagine Kevin also joining the Nets. I thought it was going to be Kyrie or bust for the Nets. Okay, so help me out here. I think it was Kyrie who said, Kevin, we got to go Nets. Because of what? You're kind of going to the Clippers, right? You're going to a team that was 42-40. You said they have better pieces, and they do have a little better pieces, but they're not exactly a championship waiting to happen right now, right?
No, I just think the thing is that it would take longer for the Knicks to get those pieces. The Knicks, they put all the eggs, they were going to get Zion. They really thought they were going to get Zion, Skip, and that didn't happen. And so now they created all this cap space. They traded Porzingis. They got rid of the Tim Hardaway Jr. contract to open up all this cap space. Basically, they wanted 2 of the 3 guys. They wanted Kyrie, KD, and Kawhi. And come to find out, Skip, they don't get the number 1 overall draft pick. They don't get Kyrie. They don't get Kawhi. They don't get KD. They struck out with all the Ks. I guess K's in order. So it was a flat-out disaster, and so now you're giving guys Bobby Portis and Julius Randle, and I get all that, Skip. But for me, what this tells me about Kevin Durant is that now I would rather win a title with my friends, and because after he won the first title, remember, Skip, he said, "Is that it? Is this what is?" Where's the 100 member marching band? Where's the orchestra? Where's everything that comes along with this? You see what happened in Golden State, Skip? He won a title with teammates. Now he wants to win a title with friends.
Okay.
What happened is, Skip, in Golden State, you look at this. Draymond, Clay, and Steph, they grew up together. It would have been the equivalent if KD had won in OKC with him, Serge, and Russ.
I agree with that. And it never quite, the bonding never quite took place.
Because Steph and him was that different, Skip. When he got there, Steph was happily married with 2 kids. KD's coming in single.
Yep.
So it was never going to work.
So I assume he and Kyrie are so close that he listened to Kyrie, who said, let's go Nets. And I'm assuming he listened to DeAndre, who, remember, was with the Knicks last year. He played 19 out of 31 games. So he got a taste of the culture under David Fizdale.
Right.
I'm going to guess DeAndre Jordan told KD no on David Fizdale, and maybe the entire organization.
Well, I think he likes Fizdale. I just don't think he liked the organization because remember, Skip, I think he was a DNP the last 7 games of the season.
Not surprisingly, but go ahead.
It seems like they were going in a different direction. They wanted to go young, and I'm sure DeAndre understood that.
Okay, so this feels for me a little like the choice LeBron made to come to Los Angeles. No matter if I have a co-star or not, I want to go to LA, and you can argue with me all day until cows come home or don't come home, that LeBron chose the Lakers in part because of Hollywood, in part. And now, to me, Kevin has made a similar choice at an advanced age. He's been 12 years. He's been 12 years in the league. He made a choice. I just want to play with my friends.
Right.
Title or no title. I'm not sure title is his priority right now. Again, Brooklyn is a little better situated to make a run with those 2 guys. But Kevin obviously can't play next year.
But what did you tell me all last week? Kevin Durant will do things that will bring fireworks where you least expect it. Kyrie marches to his own drum, his own beat. They will do things because everybody's thinking They're going to the Knicks. Why not go to the Knicks? The Knicks is so hallowed. The Madison Square Garden, the biggest acts perform there. Why wouldn't you two guys want to perform on that stage? They said, nah, we going to Brooklyn. We going to make Brooklyn a stage like the Knicks. That's how they think, Skip. Because you know when you get to that level, you have supreme confidence in your ability and what you can and can't do.
All right, back to the Knicks. If I ran the Knicks, would I have plunged and offered Kevin Durant the max? You better believe I would have, because you just have to.
Yes.
You got rid of Porzingis to do this.
Yes.
Just do it.
Yes.
Do you have legit concerns about it? You better believe you do, because what happened to DeMarcus Cousins? He came back after a year, and yet all the Warriors said he never looked right all of last year.
Right.
He couldn't run up and down the floor, couldn't get back in shape, and he often complained that his foot on the Achilles side hurt him.
Right.
We saw flashes of brilliance in the finals, but it could only be for 4 minutes here and 5 minutes here.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Is that going to be the Kevin Durant we see in 2 years? Might he need a whole year back to get right?
Oh, I believe
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that would mean we have to wait 3 years out until we start to see the old Kevin Durant in all his glory. Well, at that point, he will be 33 years of age, and maybe he'll start showing a little wear and tear. So were the Knicks right to say, well, time out, wait a second, because he had the Jones fracture back in Oklahoma City that cost him basically a whole year, took 3 surgeries to get it right, and it was on his right foot.
Right.
You can't tell me that there was some sort of
imbalance,
pathology going on there up and down the leg that operated to the point that he finally pulled calf, tore Achilles tendon, right?
And he's had a lot of calf injuries.
Had a lot of calf injuries, and he's had a sprained knee. It was on the other side, but he can be injury prone. So I get that you'd say, okay, maybe that's a problem. And by the way, on Kyrie Irving, is it possible?
Injury prone.
Okay, he's way injury prone, number one. And number two, he's diva prone. And I'll be the first to admit it. As much as I love him, is it possible that next year he continues to get exposed as a guy who can't lead, who alienates teammates? Is it possible in his 1 year by himself with no Kevin Durant that he alienates a bunch of the Nets the way he alienated all of the Celtics?
It's possible.
You know how he is?
Yeah.
Okay, he goes to the beat of his own drummer to a fault. So is it possible you start looking at the net? Is it possible the Nets made the wrong choice? Sure it is. Is it possible you look back in 3 years and say, boy, the Knicks made the right move? Yeah, you might look at it on paper, but in the big picture, emotionally, they made the wrong move. You just have to plunge. Offer him the max.
Think about this, Skip. In 2019, after all the bad contracts that James Dolan has given out as the Knicks
That's
owner.
a very good point, because they have a legacy of
Skip, this is where he said, nah, enough is enough. With Kevin Durant.
And by the way, listen, I thought the biggest Melo contract was not a good idea, because you got really nothing to speak of back for it. And then the Amari contract, remember that?
Allen Houston contract.
Houston was horrible.
Freeway. I mean, Isaiah was just giving out money like it was candy.
Did you say Amari? Amari
Stoudemire.
And McIce and Allen Houston. They've had their highway is littered with
bad
awful contracts.
So Marbury.
So you didn't want another one of those. But in this case, he's a 2-time Finals MVP. You just close your eyes and do it. It's the cost of doing business. It's the risk you have to take.
Let me ask you a question, but here's the thing. If you look at all these other guys that's got the 5 years and the 178s, the 180s, the 4 years for this or that, even if Kevin Durant does not come back at 100% Kevin Durant, he comes back at 85, 90%, he's still better than all but maybe 8 players in the NBA, even at 85, 90%. You just do I get it, Skip. It's a huge risk, given when you believe that he could possibly come back and be the Kevin Durant, if he can get back to that. It's a huge risk, but it must be a risk you're willing to take. Given why the hell you get rid of Porzingis? Why did you trade Hardaway Jr. to clear all this cap space? And here's the guy sitting there. If he tells you no, you can live with that. But he tells you no because you're not going to give him the max, that can't happen.
Okay. So in the end, you tell me, okay, maybe they think to themselves, let's go put the Nets on the championship map. They did go to the finals in 2002 and then back-to-back in 2003. Byron Scott was the head coach, remember that?
Yes.
And they lost to the Spurs in 6. That was the second year, and they got swept by the Lakers, the Shaq Lakers. So again, they have a little bit of at least finals legacy, but they're still the Clippers to me. It just still doesn't feel right. Kevin Durant will look back and say, I had an opportunity to go big, to go New York City, to go Madison Square Garden, unless he just wants to kind of, like he says, I did all that. I won back-to-back finals MVPs when nobody thought I could. So this feels a little bit like semi-retirement to me for Kevin Durant. A little bit.
Skip, as it's breaking, and I see the Nets to sign Kyrie, they start hearing out. They're telling the Nets are telling people they've got Kevin Durant. They've got Kevin Durant. And then when it finally breaks, Kyrie, Kevin Durant signed with the Nets. It seems surreal. How did the Nets get 2 of the top 3 prize free agents in the free agent market? How did you get them?
Well, that's my point. I don't know.
It's been in the works.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen yesterday.
No, it was because Kyrie said, hey, let's do this. Let's do this. And I guess Kyrie is the dominant of the two friends.
Yeah.
I think he dictated, let's go to the Nets.
Let's do this.
Kevin said, okay.
Let's do this, KD. We gonna put the Nets on the map.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we won a title with the Nets, we've got them back? It ain't gonna happen. Cause we about to get a why. We're gonna talk about that a little later, Skip. We're about to talk about that next. Cause you know we about to get why, right?
Who?
The cornroad assassin.
Who?
Oh no, Kawhi.
Him?
Yeah.
I don't think
what
you're going to
mean,
get him. I don't think you're going to
Yeah,
get
you
him.
do.
I think you're dreaming.
No.
Yeah.
Put your doll away.
Yeah.
Put your little voodoo doll away.
I don't have a voodoo
Yeah,
doll.
you do. Yeah, you do. You stick your pins and tear it all. Yeah.
I have a Shannon doll that I stick pins in, but not a number 2 doll.
But don't worry about it.
I have seen this. Great stuff, guys. The Nets, certainly the big winners in free agency. They also got a commitment from Garrett Temple. He should sign on July 6th.
No mercy.
Hey guys, Jenny Taft here, and before the show moves along, I wanted to talk to you about ZipRecruiter. There are job sites that send you tons of the wrong resumes to sort through. That's not smart. But you know what is smart? Going to ZipRecruiter.com/undisputed to hire the right person. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you, it finds them for you. Its powerful matching technology scans thousands of resumes, identifies people with the right skills, education, and experience for your job, and actively invites them to apply. So you get qualified candidates fast. That's why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. This rating comes from hiring sites on Trustpilot with over 1,000 reviews. And right now, Undisputed listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/undisputed. That's ZipRecruiter.com/undisputed. One more time, ZipRecruiter.com/undisputed. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Now, back to the show.
No mercy.
Free agents were flying off the market yesterday, but not Kawhi Leonard. He's still weighing his options. The Claw seems to have narrowed his list down to 3 potential suitors. Clippers, Raptors, and Lakers all expected to meet with Kawhi this week. But the Lakers just might be the frontrunner. Our friend Chris Broussard reports the Kawhi to the Lakers rumblings are growing stronger this morning. The LA Times reporting Kawhi and his uncle had a positive talk with Magic Johnson yesterday about the direction of the team. Shannon, he's your boy. Where do you think Kawhi is going to end up?
Yeah, you remember that MC Hammer song? Gain momentum. Yeah, that's what about to happen.
I wish you could sing it. But
I will sing it tomorrow.
Oh.
I will sing it tomorrow.
You won't need to.
Yeah, yes, I will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he'll be singing a different tune.
He'll
tomorrow.
be signed, sealed, and delivered.
He'll be
I'm
delivering.
yours. That's another song, Skip.
I
Look,
know that song even better than the other one. Yep.
you know what? I find it very, very ironic, Skip. This reminds me of something that happened in 2016. You remember with like leading up to the general election, is that they were asking people, and all of them kept saying, I would never vote for Donald Trump. He's this and he's that. And lo and behold, guess who's in the White House?
Yep.
Everybody keeps saying, I don't want to play with LeBron James. Even Rick, I don't have no reason to doubt him. I believe he told
Rick Bucher.
Rick
Yep.
Bucher said, Kawhi told him, I don't want to compete with him. I want to compete against him.
Yes.
And lo and behold, because you know why they say that, Skip? There is no benefit in saying I want to play with LeBron James because everybody's going to do what Skip Bayless would do, is that, he would rip them apart. They would never. Do you think Michael Jordan would say he wants such a guy? He would never, ever do that.
He would not. have.
Everybody want to play with old King James because he's unselfish.
Oh, really?
The most unselfish GOAT of all times. Normally, goats are really selfish, but
There's
not
only
this goat.
one goat.
There's another. Well, this is the goat right here I'm talking about. Now leave it. Look, when you break it down, Skip, and this would even be worse than the Knicks. If the Clippers don't land Kawhi Leonard, Skip, this will be a bigger fiasco than what the Knicks suffered.
I agree.
Because they have top to bottom ownership much better. The structure of the organization, the way it's run, much better.
Agreed.
And we can all agree that Doc Rivers currently right now is a better coach than David Fisdale. So if they miss out on Kawhi, this would be a bigger disaster than what the Knicks suffered yesterday.
Okay.
So you get an opportunity to play with LeBron. LeBron already told you, bro, come on down here. I'm gonna take a backseat. I'll take a little auxiliary role. I'll make sure I facilitate you and AD. I will make sure this thing is gonna go along smoothly. You'll never have to worry about me getting in the way, because you know I am King James. You know I ain't got nothing to worry about.
I got 1 foot in Hollywood.
See, there you go. See, now you see what you do, Skip. You do this every time.
But it's true.
No, it's
You're
not.
going down the right
it's not.
path. Yeah.
The man says, you know what? I want to make sure everybody's comfortable. I understand you guys, because I want to leave this thing in great hands. I want to leave it in better shape than when I found it. You remember how LeBron got here? And the Lakers were on the trash heap, in case you didn't know. And he says, I want to leave it in a better situation than what I found it. I want to make sure AD and Kawhi has this thing moving forward for years and years to come. So I'm willing to concede something. That's what LeBron does. That's why he's the GOAT.
So you're admitting he's on the downside.
No, I don't remember nothing. You do know the Lakers rehired this world-renowned PT, Judy Sieto.
Okay. Well, that's it. That's why I would sign with the Lakers.
But hold on. That's very important. You remember it was the PTs, it was the athletic trainers in San Antonio. They got them up out of there. So these people are more important than we previously thought. And remember, he had a very, very close relationship to the guy that was in Toronto at the time. So they give them a lot more credit, Skip, because, you got to build up that trust. And I don't see that being a problem. So with that being said, I got a strong feeling, Skip. Like you say, you always tell me when the Cowboys are playing, the Spurs, you got a feeling. Ooh, I just got this feeling, Jen. I got a feeling.
So what would you make it? 90% that he's going to sign?
Yeah.
Would you? More?
Yeah,
95?
I got 90. I feel like 90 right now.
95?
It's like what LeBron going to shoot.
97?
It's like LeBron going to shoot at the free throw line next year, 90%.
How many cases you want to put on that?
You don't get that.
Thank you. Now I am so dearly hoping.
What you hoping for?
That number 2 chooses the Clippers, or even if he chooses to re-sign in Toronto, so that you can feel at least a little the way I felt when number 2 left me high and dry in San Antonio. And if he leaves you high and dry, which he's capable of doing right here, right now, because I don't think he's taken one meeting yet, and I think he's about to have back-to-backs, and I don't know if it's going to be Lakers-Clippers or Clippers-Lakers, but he's going to give both franchises a shot to convince him they should be his destination for the next 4 or 5 years. So I am so dearly hoping that he stiffs you and your Lakers the way he stiffed me and my Spurs, so that you can just get a little taste of my medicine that I've been taking over here for about a year now. And then maybe you will start calling him number 2 too, if he stiffs you. Am I right?
Nope.
And I think it is very possible that you are overlooking just the firepower that the Clippers are about to roll out.
What they roll out?
They're going to roll out Doc Rivers and Jerry West and the deepest pockets in sports and Steve Ballmer.
You can only spend 109.
And an organization that has been gearing up for at least a year to make this presentation on this day.
Yes.
That's what's about to be rolled out.
Yep.
And they did, maybe in a little bit of a panic move, they did leap last night once Jimmy Butler went down with he's going to the Heat. Right? Mm-hmm. And at certain points, we thought it might be even number 2 and KD to the Clippers. Then it became number 2 and Jimmy Butler to the Clippers. And now it comes down to, we better go re-sign Patrick Beverley. And they leaped on it, and they gave him, what was it, 3 years, $40 million. Pretty good money for Patrick Beverley.
Considering, Skip, he made $5 million last year.
Okay.
I mean, he did enough to get an $8 million raise a year.
Okay, good. Well, again, you might say it's a little bit of desperation, but at least they have now positioned themselves to bring back pretty much the same team. I know they lost Garrett Temple to Brooklyn. So, again, he was a role player for them, but a good one.
Yeah.
He can play defense and occasionally shoot some threes. But the point is that now you look at the Clippers, they went 48-34 last year. Pretty good.
Won't be that
They
this
won
year.
a couple of games in the first round
Yeah.
against Kevin Durant's Golden State Warriors.
Good, too.
At Oracle, they won those games. They're a team on the verge, and at least they could bring it back as is. If they could add number 2, that could put them over the top in the West.
Ain't happening.
That's the pitch they're about to make. And I hope number 2 is watching right now, because I'm going to ask him some hard questions.
You ain't gonna ask him nothing. That's
Number
why he
2.
didn't sign.
Why, as you say? Why would you join the circus? He's the kind of kid who doesn't want to join the circus.
Yes, he does.
He wanted to play in those shadows.
He's
up
a
there in
performer.
Toronto. Oh, is he?
Yeah, if you got a special talent as a kid, what you want to do? You want to showcase it. And what better place to showcase it than Staples?
Why would number 2 suddenly want to play in the hottest spotlight in all of sports? Because it's going to get real hot on that Staples stage if he signs with the Lakers, because they are going to become the center of the NBA universe. Does he want that?
That's what he wants.
And worst of all, he's going to join a team in which he will be clearly the third wheel. I don't care how you slice it. It's LeBron. It's AD.
No, it's not. Don't listen to anything he's saying,
And
Kawhi.
they're clutch clients, so they're going to get all the all the influences theirs. Whatever they want, they will get. Those 2 will get. You're going to be the third wheel.
3 Musketeers.
Yeah. He's going to be the third musketeer at best. And what always happens to LeBron's third musketeer? The GOAT, as you call him, and I put big old quotes around GOAT.
Yeah, to give them big horns in there.
He needs a scapegoat, and he's always had one. He had Chris Bosh in Miami. He had Kevin Love in Cleveland.
Which one of these guys, Kawhi?
Okay. Now this guy's going to be that guy.
Yeah.
Right?
LeBron
gonna
said,
be
you
the
know
third
what,
wheel.
guy? Instead of turning, I'm going to be the third guy. I'm going to be the guy. Instead of averaging 27, 8, and 8, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop it down and give you 24, 10, and 6.
He is the most overprotected superstar in the history of sports, as your man LeBron James, led by you. You're president of the Blind Witness fan club. And all the blind witnesses always say if there's a big epic fail by their man, number 6, if number 6 epic fails, they all say, we got to blame the third wheel.
Well, who you blaming for this
It's
title?
your fault. Number 2.
Who you blaming for this title we're about to get? Who you going to blame for that?
Nobody.
Oh,
You
yeah,
ain't going to win one. And by the way.
Hold on. Can I get some? So you said
you got lots to do on it.
when we
You already
get-
got it.
Then when we get Kawhi, we're not going to win the title.
You already bet me 30 cases with just Anthony Davis, so why would you want another bet?
I want all the cases that I
So we're going to
lost.
go up to 50 or, yeah, okay.
Skip, can you imagine? I said it would be unfair. And I didn't think the commissioner, Adam Silver, who happens to be the best commissioner going right now, I didn't think he'd let this happen. But it's going to happen. Inevitable. I looked it up this morning. Inevitable. That which is bound to occur. That which cannot
you know
be
what?
avoided.
Did you look it up?
No, I know.
I think most people actually know that definition. I don't know. I did. You know?
So you know what's inevitable then.
They taught me that at Vanderbilt. I don't know.
So you know Kawhi's coming then. You
I
know
don't
it's
know.
inevitable.
I have so much respect for the firepower running the Clippers right now. I'm not ruling out the Clippers. I realize it now looks a little worse for the Clippers because there's not a clear co-star.
Co-star.
But if you're watching number 2, why don't you have the guts to go compete against LeBron James?
Yeah.
As he said to Rick Bucher, I don't want to compete with him. I want to compete against him. Have the guts.
That's one thing. The one thing that I know about Kawhi, the little bit I do know about him, he's not going to let you shame him into doing something that he doesn't want to do.
Oh, yeah?
No.
Let's just see.
Yeah.
Let's just see.
You look at this.
Yeah, I
love it.
I know how he is built. I know what he's made
He
of.
built the right stuff.
He is not an alpha, and he does not want to go to a team with 2 alphas already where he just be relegated to, I'm along for this ride.
Don't worry about it, Skip. As long as we eat. As long as we eating.
Yep.
I just see you get caught up with who eat first or who get the biggest peas. That ain't how we do things at Laker Land. With LeBron, AD, and Kyrie, Kawhi, we don't worry about who get the biggest piece of chicken. We don't worry about who gets to eat first, fix my plate first. That ain't how we do it there. Because here's the thing about a pie, Skip. When things go well, everybody gonna get a slice of it.
Well, speaking of slicing the pie, let's say he does join forces with LeBron and AD. Who closes for him? Who's the
LeBron,
closer?
Kawhi.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Not made of closer stuff.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Who gonna be close enough to close?
Clutch gene.
Why we need to close when we got those three guys?
Okay.
They ain't gonna even be close.
Oh, so it won't even be close enough to need a closer.
Dude, game be out of hand.
Okay.
Now, if you keep on talking, we're going to go 75-7. But if you be nice to me, I'll tell them to go 68-14. Now, what you want me to do?
How many cases of do we get on 68-14?
Nah, we don't go there because we need load management. Bron missed 12.
Yeah.
Kawhi missed like 20. AD gonna miss. So, we be 60. 60 and 22 be good.
I hope he does sign with the Lakers because this team would then become the big hurt because they'd all three be hurt here and there and everywhere. They all three have recent injury history, starting with LeBron and his groin.
And what made Golden State so unbeatable? That two of the three could have off nights and the third guy can drop 60 on them. So if two of the three are out, guess what? We still got. This is what we're going to have. We're going to have three of the top 6 players in all of basketball. Never in the history of the game can somebody say that. That's what we're about to possess.
So I found it interesting last night that Ramona Shelburne on ESPN said that maybe this is what the number 2 group decided would be sort of a loyalty test. Let's play this out for 48 hours and see which of the teams that we're talking to would leak. Well, what leaked right away it might have been on Saturday. I'm losing track of the days. What leaked?
Magic leaked it.
Magic leaked it. Magic just immediately leaked. He called me. He wanted me to talk to him on the phone.
But we knew that.
We
knew that.
You like that?
But that just goes to show you. This is why you never burn bridges, be it employee or employer. Because you never know. Now, who did he say? He didn't say.
Wait a second. Magic burned his bridge to the ground, I thought.
But you can't do that. But see, guess what? He didn't say, I want to talk. He talked to Magic first. He didn't talk to Rob. He didn't talk to Jeannie. He didn't talk to anybody. We've been talking to somebody behind the scenes, but you don't know about that.
So he talked to the guy first who quit on the franchise and then trashed the whole franchise. That's who he talked to.
Quit.
Am I right?
They didn't give him what they promised.
Maybe he wanted the dirt. Did he get the dirt?
Yeah. The thing that Magic Johnson realized, he could do more help. He could be more beneficial to the Lakers as Magic Johnson than he ever could as Irving Johnson.
So once Magic got the call, hey, he wants to talk to you first by phone, he and Uncle Dennis, Magic immediately just went full leap, right?
You can't have it.
Because Magic wanted everybody to know, I'm back. I'm still.
Skip, when you get that kind of news, Skip, you can't keep that. Let me tell you what. If Nicole Murphy would have ever get my number and called me on the phone, I'm calling my brother, my sister, my mom, my best friend. I'm calling everybody.
She's got your number.
She got it.
She might not have called you, but she's got it.
That's a whole nother show.
I hate it, Skip.
Whole other
You've been
show.
hating lately.
In that discussion with Magic Johnson, Kawhi and his Uncle Dennis did ask about bringing aboard his own medical staff, as well as the alleged dysfunction of the Lakers
Whatever you want, Kawhi.
All right, next up today, the Warriors, a flurry of activity on the first day of free agency. As expected, Klay Thompson agreed to that max deal, but here's the unexpected. Golden State finalizing a trade for D'Angelo Russell and then trading former Finals MVP Andre Iguodala to Memphis. The biggest domino, of course, KD's decision to leave for Brooklyn. Steph Curry reportedly left China to fly to New York to talk to KD. The Athletic reports Steph found out Durant was leaving while Steph was on the plane. Went ahead to New York anyway, though, to thank KD for the 3 years they were together. Shannon, interesting turn of events. Why do you think KD ended up leaving Golden State?
He wasn't fulfilled. The championship didn't give him his ultimate piece of what he thought it would give him, Skip, because he immediately said, "This is it. This is what I thought it would be more." You can't Skip. You know those saying you can't put a price on happiness. Even at $57 million, because that's what Kevin Durant left on the table in Golden State by signing with Brooklyn, was happiness. You Skip, we talked about this a little earlier. Draymond, Klay, and Steph. They grew up together. It's kind of like you have your friends, Skip. We went through K all the way to 12. And then there's this other guy that came in your sophomore year of high school. Yep. He cool at all. He good. I mean, we play ball together, play football, basketball, ran track. He cool. Yep. But he's not like the one that we grew up together with. That's what KD had in OKC. He and Russ. He and Serge Ibaka. Skip, they grew up together. I believe had he won that would have gave him more peace, more inner peace than what he got at Golden State.
I agree.
He just could never get that. And it wasn't until it became too late that the fans started to give Kevin Durant the praise, the adulation, and the appreciation that he sought. Because it wasn't until they got down 3-1 and the rumbling started to grow that KD was coming back. And then they saw what he did in that game 5 in the first 12 minutes of the game. Then they realized just how special Kevin Durant was. Because they had Steph, and Steph wasn't even coming close to doing it by himself. It was that guy. Skip, we said this. Look, they were a great team before KD, but in a 7-game series, that 7-foot monster made them virtually unbeatable because they had no answer for him. Because you're like, when things are going haywire, because remember that game 3 against Cleveland, the second time around, Steph finished with 10 points. I think Clay had 11 or 12. It was KD in that 43 that when the Cavs tried to go get further and further out, it was KD 3, KD with a post up. Skip, he couldn't get what he wanted. Yes, he wanted a title, but he wanted more. And that title couldn't fulfill that quench, that desire to be loved, to be appreciated, and to do it with friends. It's something said about Skip going on. I mean, because normally when people go, they go like, if you got, well, you ain't got any friend. I'm your only friend. Me and Ernestine, the only friends you got. It's like if you want to go do something, you like, I want to go do it with my best friend. Not 2 guys that I just started meeting, just started working with at work over a year ago. I want guys that grew up with to go along on this ride. He says, I want my best friend, Kyrie and DeAndre. I want them to experience, I want to experience what I had in Golden State, winning a title, but I want to experience it with them. KD and Steph, when they intersected, Skip was at different stages of their life. Steph Curry was married with a beautiful wife, had 2 little girls. You remember, Skip? Riley Curry became a meme because every night after the game, Steph Curry would bring out there and sit up, and she'd be sitting on the dad's lap looking, holding court. KD got there. KD was single. So they're at different stages of their life, and it's reported in this article very well. Marcus Thompson, Skip, he said,
it is a terrific piece.
You can go out with Steph, but Aisha, his family, some friends, close associates. And Skip, you know, when guys go out, we want to talk about things. We don't want mama and we don't want family members and everybody to be around privy to what we talking about. That's just the way it goes. Nothing wrong. Hey, I have no problem with the way Steph conducts his business. But I'm just telling you, as men, when we go out, we talk about things that women do not need to be, we don't want them around to hear. So that's why Kevin Durant.
Speak for yourself, but it's okay.
Or whatever. Ernestine don't want to be around you when you talking all crazy. Talking about number 2, she calls him Kawhi. I know. But anyway.
She does. She loves it. She still loves it.
But Skip, what he couldn't get in Golden State, now he can get in Brooklyn, is that the ability to win a championship with friends.
What did you always tell me about Kevin Durant and Golden State? No matter how great he is, no matter how many championships he wins, it will always be Steph's team.
Yep.
Bottom line. So when I read the Marcus Thompson piece, again, it was terrifically written and researched. What did it smack of to me? It had to come from somebody. I don't know if it came straight from Steph, but somebody in his camp wanted this out there that Steph flew all the way from, where was he, in Shanghai?
He was Shanghai.
Yeah. All the way from Shanghai to New York City, and didn't hear until he was in mid-flight, it's over, he's committed to the Nets. Still went on to New York because he wanted to see him, to quote Marcus, face-to-face, man-to-man, friend-to-friend, to say, hey, love you, man, appreciate all that you've done. To me, there's some PR operating here because he wanted the world to know, especially Warriors Nation to know, that don't blame me. I tried. I did the best I could to get Kevin to come back.
Right.
Don't put it all on me because we never quite clicked, okay?
Yeah, they shouldn't, Skip. He got out of the driver's seat and got in the passenger seat so KD could drive.
He did. But again, I think he wanted it clear. I went out of my way to either help re-recruit him or at least thank him. One way or the other, I went to New York and I knocked on his door and I said, hey, congratulations, right? Okay. So it makes Steph come off a little bit better. But now we go back to why did this unravel? I think it started about a year ago at the team's championship celebration. Do you remember the Bob Myers?
I do.
Okay, he tried to make a joke about this. I think we have it if we could show it. Let's see it right now.
And then
this
I heard
is
you
the
tell Kevin
beginning of
Durant
the
he
end.
can have whatever contract he wants next year.
Yeah, that was just for the media. He can't have anything like that at all.
Mid-level.
Yeah, mid-level, behind closed doors. It's a
Because I
different
think
story.
last year he told Steph he could have any contract he wants too.
Yeah,
So
well, yeah, that was different. He's been here from the run, the way before days. He's earned it.
and there ended the Warriors' cohesion right there.
So much for chemistry. That's when it began.
Ooh, did you see Kevin's face? He's muttering like that.
See what happens when you be
It
drinking.
hurts.
See
Yeah.
when you drank too much the night before, Skip?
Yeah,
What happens?
Maybe. Trying to make a joke that flopped. It fell right on its head, and everybody groaned in the audience. I
'Cause
think
they knew.
some of the Warriors groaned, and Kevin Durant's muttering to himself. And it felt like the beginning of the end because I think it was too true. Steph was here from the beginning. He deserved his contract,
He
right?
earned it.
He earned it, yeah.
KD like, what?
No, won't work. Then we had the Draymond incident, and you and I have talked about it 39 times on this show, but it was serious business, man to man. In anger, what's your line about? A man will tell
Anger.
the truth.
Drunk kids and angry people.
Okay, there you go. This was extreme anger, and it actually played into the issue with the Warriors this year is that Kevin is like, give me the ball in the backcourt. You know,
Right.
like he wants
Right.
to dribble the ball up.
Right.
Draymond's like, no, I can do this.
Right.
I got this.
Yeah.
I'm faster than you are because Draymond is a lot faster than
With the
Kevin
ball,
dribbling
yes.
the basketball.
Okay.
And how many times did he hurt teams in the playoffs by just taking it, just full courting it? How many times did he beat Portland down the court?
Oh, my goodness.
Right?
Numerous.
Times. So he's saying, no, we're better if I do this.
Right.
No, Kevin's clapping for the basketball, and now the clash starts, and it carries over onto the bench at, ironically, Staples Center. And Draymond says, we won without you. And then he calls him that word.
Well, he said that afterward. He
Yeah.
said, you always have been that. You are that, and we won without you. So leave.
So leave. Just go ahead and leave. And there were multiple reports that they mended the fence. I just never bought it. And I don't think it ever gets mended. When you say that out of anger, you speak your heart.
Yeah.
He spoke his heart to Kevin because that's what Draymond deep down believes. We won without you.
The old rule of thumb is, Skip, you never say something permanently hurtful when you're temporarily upset.
Yep. There you go.
Skip, it's hard to overcome that. It's hard to overcome that because me as an athlete, Skip, you have this supreme confidence, but to hear someone says, Steph is different. Steph has been here longer. He's earned it. Kevin Durant said, you do realize I just won back-to-back finals MVPs, and I hit 43 in a game 3 that really closed the series when your guy had 10 points. While we over here talking and we laughing, Skip, we in seriousness, KD, we would have a very, very different outlook on Steph Curry had KD not shown up. I'm not so sure they have 2 more wins in the finals minus KD.
Agreed.
So we're looking at Steph Curry. We're not looking at Steph Curry. Could he pass Magic Johnson as the greatest point guard? Can he move into the top 10? That's not even open for debate. That's not even open for discussion.
I agree.
Had it not been for now. It was a great trade-off because Kevin Durant got an opportunity to go there and to see how this thing, the inner workings of it, and it was perfect. Steph Curry, it took a lot.
Okay.
That guy's a 2 times MVP.
Right.
And he says, KD, it's
Okay.
your show now, bro.
Now to point number 3. Something went on with Kevin's injury, and I don't know whom to believe or what to believe, but something was weird about it.
Yes.
And all I know for sure is that he went all the way to New York City to get his Achilles reattached by the surgeon who is the Nets team surgeon.
Yep.
And it was no coincidence. There's a connection there. In fact, the same surgeon did Kevin's Joan fracture when he needed to get it fixed the 3rd time, and the final time he did it and got it right. So that was another issue here, which left Golden State in a lurch. And I thought it was complete panic on their part to give D'Angelo Russell the max they could give him.
But it doesn't make Skip. Here's a guy that had the third highest usage rate. We're trying behind Harden and Russ.
Doesn't make sense. Doesn't fit.
The guy that will dribble the ball more in 2 possessions than Klay Thompson will in a single night.
True.
I'm Skip, and maybe it's because Klay is going to be out, let's just say for the late February, early March.
Yep.
And they need a second guy that can score the basketball. But when you really break it down and you look at, okay, Klay, Steph, Draymond, D'Angelo,
Unless you tell me you can trade him at the trade deadline.
Maybe that is
right.
Maybe that is a piece in what they're going to do. But I tell you something else very interesting. It was reported, Chris Haynes reported that they had come to Andre Iguodala earlier in the week and said, if we lose KD, we're probably going to move you. Hence, the truth-telling on the Breakfast Club. Skip, you can't give away the secrets to the original recipe and expect the Colonel to have you back in the house.
That's true, he did.
He opened. He pulled the curtain back and let everybody see everybody, getting dressed and what they're cooking and what they're putting in the pots. You can't do that. But guess what I heard, though? You know who his former agent is? Oh, Rob Pelinka. Now, Memphis, what we do know, they going young. Now, why would they want a 35, 36-year-old Andre Iguodala?
You want Iggy in L.A.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying, do you know? I don't know who his former agent was. Do you know who his former agent is? Old Robbie. Like you call old Robbie.
Yeah,
Robbie Pelinka. Rob P.
So you want Iggy as your next piece to the puzzle.
Coming out the bench.
Yeah.
Coming out the bench. Iggy. Iguodala.
It could happen.
Great stuff, gentlemen.
No mercy. No mercy.
On Friday, the U.S. women's national team got a thrilling 2-1 win over France to advance to the semifinals of the Women's World Cup. Next up, a showdown with England. Catch all the action tomorrow at 2 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. All right, you ready to take notes? The Eastern Conference going through a complete facelift yesterday. The Celtics lost Kyrie Irving, but they regrouped and will sign Kemba Walker. The Pacers added Malcolm Brogdon. Philly lost Jimmy Butler to the Heat, but they brought back Tobias Harris and will add Al Horford. Meanwhile, the NBA champion Raptors are in a holding pattern, just waiting on Kawhi Leonard's decision. So much to keep track of. Shannon, right now, if you had to pick, who's the best team in the East?
Sixers. And it's not close. Skip, look. Is Al Horford or Tobias Harris the player that Jimmy Butler is? No. But there's something to be said for a locker room. And I believe that's what Al Horford will give them, a bigger presence in the locker room, a more calming presence, not as confrontational. And maybe Jimmy thinks that's the way to go about it. But you can't confront everybody. Everybody's not going to be on the same wavelength, has the same type of demeanor or want the same thing or want to go about the same things that you do. I think Al Horford as a third or a fourth option is a great position for him. Skip, the mistake that Boston made is that when they signed him, they didn't have Kyrie and they didn't have Gordon Hayward. So he is the linchpin. He's the number one guy. That's not what he is. He's not a guy you build around and say, oh, yeah, we go in place with Al. But you put Joel Embiid in the mix. You put Ben Simmons in the mix. You add Tobias Harris. Now you got a nice quality player that if Joel Embiid missed times, you can slide him to the 5. He can play the 5. He can play the 4. He can stretch. He can shoot the 3.
Yep.
Now, they're going to be hell on defense. That's a big frontline team. Everybody goes 6'9" above. Tobias is the shorter at 6'9". And then you go 6'10" Ben Simmons, 7'2" Joel Embiid, 6'10 and a half, 6'10", 11 Al Horford. And I love the swap with Josh Richardson. Guy that can play D, can shoot the 3, great offensive guy. So I like them, Skip. I thought Boston got better. Kyrie is a better player than Kemba Walker. But Kyrie has his issues that didn't sit well in that locker room. I'm not so sure there are very many people in Boston's locker room. I don't know how the fans feel about him, Skip, but I don't think there's very many people in the Boston organization that's upset that Kyrie is no longer there. Milwaukee will still be good. They brought back Chris Middleton. They did lose Brogdon, but they were able to re-sign Brook Lopez. Just saw that they might have signed his brother, Robin Lopez. So I think they'll still be good. Toronto's in a heap of trouble. But right now, as we sit here, It's Sixers, and it's not even close.
Wait, so now it's a done deal. Number 2 is not going back to Toronto?
No, I'm saying they're in a holding pattern.
Okay.
And Skip, look, either put me down or don't take off. If I got I hate when the traffic is backed up over Hartsfield Jackson, and so we're gonna be in a hold my butt, take me down. Kawhi, take your time. Cause we got this.
But
we got this.
All last week you were saying he should go back to Toronto.
That was
before.
That was before.
Yeah. You've said a lot of things that changed on the fly, right? Okay. So what if he does? Let's do the hypothetical. What if he does go back to Toronto? Then who's the best team in
Philly.
the East? Still?
Yes.
Wow. So you're admitting he made the luckiest shot in the history of the playoffs to beat Philly. Am I right?
They ain't got nothing to do with it, Skip.
Okay, because I agree with your premise. Because if Joel Embiid doesn't have 2 viruses and 2 sore knees, they're going to win that series against Toronto. And it went to the last shot. And again, that was with a Jimmy Butler that they decided didn't really fit. So they're winning, you might say, in spite of I love Jimmy Butler. But let me tell you, in value, in overall impact on and off the floor, he is not Al Horford. I will take Al Horford over Jimmy Butler any day or any night as the more valuable member of my basketball team. All Al Horford has done in his career is make the playoffs every year. And it's because he was always the rock, the driving force, he's the one they all look to for leadership and big shot making.
He just can't be the best player.
No, okay, I got that. He doesn't look like the best player. He doesn't act like the best player, but he makes a lot of big shots.
Yeah.
And he makes a lot of big defensive stops when you need it most. He will block a shot where you say, where did that come from? Right? So to me, that if you roll out that 5 of Embiid and Ben Simmons and Al Horford, and Tobias is back, and Josh Richardson, to me, is a budding young star. It's 3 and D that he gives you, but it's star power. Those 5, that's the best 5 in the East. Do they have much depth? They do not. They still have Mike Scott, and that's about it.
They lost JJ.
Yeah, they lost JJ. So they need to add some shooters, and the list is getting meager by the minute. The more you read your phone, it gets worse and worse.
It does.
But Seth Curry is out there, Danny Green, my man.
But he waiting on what he waiting on.
Okay.
He let it be known. He waiting on Kawhi.
No, I got
a feeling he's going to be up in L.A. You too, huh?
It could be, depending on, or maybe with the Clippers.
No.
Yeah.
Stop saying
maybe
that.
He's going back to Toronto.
I know you. Look, I know what you're trying to do. You try to speak it into existence.
I am, and it just might work.
No.
So the point is that they need some shooters to replace JJ.
They do.
Who, by the way, is now a Pelican, and the Pelicans, all of a sudden, they look like a force to me.
Skip, you remember I was saying the Lakers, JJ Redick would look good in a Lakers uniform, and everybody that would come up here and tell me, oh, he's entrenched in that Philly city. Oh, he loves Philly. Okay, really? No, let me tell you what he loves more than Philly. Money. Or let's go win with a bunch of kids. Oh, you ain't win what?
Win
what?
Win a bet with you.
Win what?
Right? Uh-huh.
Beignets and do.
Yeah.
Jen,
okay.
You know what? I was willing to let you buy, because we're going to sign Kawhi today by probably 6 o'clock. And I'm going to be willing to let you buy half a case. But other than that, you got to pay the full price, 2 dozen beignets.
Okay.
With
so now,
powdered sugar.
Way to go. So now let's look at the rest of the East. So I told you, I love Jimmy Butler. I love his guts. I love his toughness. Don't love his leadership. He's just a challenger. He's a fire starter.
Yeah.
And so he wanted his own stage. He's a D-Wade, almost a disciple of D-Wade. So he says, let me go try to replace D-Wade as the solo star in Miami. Right. Okay, so last year they went 39 and 43. Will he push them into an 8th or a 7th seed? I believe he will. Could they take the number 1 seed if they're the 8th seed to 6 or 7 games? Yep, I think they could.
No,
yes.
you could.
Just because of Jimmy Butler. That's how much respect I have. But they're going to lose in the first round, even though it might be a battle. They're going to lose because that's the ceiling he's going to hit in Miami. So they have factor? No, not to me. Kemba Walker, what has he done in his career in Charlotte? Help me out. He made the playoffs twice as a 6 seed and a 7 seed and did not win a first.
And who would he have to go up against?
Well, he had to run into those guys, okay? So it wasn't a fair fight. But still, is Kemba better than Kyrie, to your point? Is he close? He's close. He's really good. But, okay, so what were they last year? Boston went 49 and 33. They're going to be appreciably better with Kemba? No. Are they going to be
49 and
worse?
33, you mean?
What did I say?
49 and 43.
It's 33.
Yeah.
49 and 33.
33, yes.
Okay. So are they going to be about the same? I'll give them that, except they lost Al Horford.
Right.
But again,
And Rozier.
just on happiness, are they going to be a happier basketball team with still a nice young coach, good young coach?
I think that's going to be the biggest thing, Skip, because sometimes, what Kyrie was bringing in that locker room, guys weren't happy.
Yep.
You saw Jaylen Brown take a step back. Rozier took a step back. Jason Tatum was not the same guy that we saw in the playoffs the previous year. So I think by bringing Kemba in where he might not be Kyrie as far as big shot, but Skip, he got handles. He can hit big shots too now.
He can. He's just a little man.
He's a little man, but I just think the peace and the harmony that's going to be in the locker room and when they have it on the court. Because I don't think, Kyrie hit that big shot. He was a champion. He saw himself as way up here, and then the guys were here. That won't work.
Well, now they're all on the same level,
Yes.
which means they're going to be the 5th seed. Could they win a series? Maybe they could win.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
it.
Maybe.
I mean, we talk about the best team in the East, but we know who about to be the best team in the NBA, don't we, Skip?
Which brings us to the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know. They lost Brogdon, but they retained Middleton
and Lopez.
Yep. So are they going to still be very good? I mean, they had the best record in basketball.
That's a lot of
still.
Skip.
Yeah, I know.
Chris Middleton,
love
5 for 178.
Yep.
But let me ask you a question, Skip. At some point, they're going to have to blow this up because Giannis is in line next year to get 5 for 253. 250, so that's 420 plus million, 430 million in two guys. You really go into luxury tax for that because you're not winning a title.
So it sounds
Milwaukee's
like
not winning a title.
next year is the year or bust.
It is.
Yep.
Oh, I can see old Giannis. Giannis wanting to leave.
And Shannon, to your point, they did use their room exception, $4.8 million, to sign Robin Lopez, Brooklyn's brother. It's a 2-year
You're
deal.
breaking news over there. That's
Second year
unbelievable.
being
All he
a
gonna
player
do,
you know that?
He ain't gonna do anything on the court. All he gonna do is beat up people's mascots.
Oh, yeah.
Robin Lopez, that's all he gonna do, beat people's
But it's
mascots
funny
down.
to watch. It's good entertainment.
No mercy.
Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are both headed to Brooklyn. They reportedly signed for less than the max, so the Nets can also sign DeAndre Jordan. Durant was interested in the Knicks, but James Dolan reportedly was not prepared to sign him to a max deal because of concerns about that Achilles injury. KD is, of course, expected to miss all of next season. We're joined once again by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Good morning, good morning. Are you surprised that KD and Kyrie both decided to go to Brooklyn?
I mean, look, we've been hearing for weeks that Kyrie was honed in on the Nets and that he was trying to convince KD. So I can't say I'm surprised at all. But what I will say is this. I do think, as we were hearing all year about KD and the Knicks, I do think he was zeroed in on the Knicks. But I think a few things happened to change his mind. What I don't think happened to change his mind is that the Knicks weren't willing to give him the max. Like, I don't believe that, period, first of all, from talking to the Knicks after KD got hurt to talking to the Knicks today and yesterday, talking to them yesterday. I think they were going to offer him the max, and I think this is spin from either, like, I'm told they didn't talk internally or with KD's reps about offering him anything less than the max.
That's big.
I think this is spin from either James Dolan getting it out there so it doesn't look like the Knicks got rejected for Brooklyn, or from KD's camp so it doesn't upset people in New York that, oh, you rejected the Knicks
to go play with.
Right, for the Nets. So
But you do think he rejected the Knicks?
ultimately, yeah. I mean, he didn't choose. And look, he's not even getting the max from Brooklyn.
Nope.
He's taking less to go to Brooklyn so they can get DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan was trying to get KD and Kyrie to go to the Knicks. And DeAndre was like, I'm going to go wherever you guys go. But his preference was New York. Okay, so I think what happened was when KD got hurt, that changed everything. Because the Knicks, all along, it was two guys they were willing to go all in on for the max. Kawhi Leonard or Kevin Durant. They would take someone else, Kyrie, Kemba, maybe Jimmy Butler, with one of them if that's what it took. So with Kyrie, it was like, we want KD, and we'll take Kyrie with KD. But once KD gets hurt, now he's out for a year. Now you face the prospect of having Kyrie lead your team and your locker room for a year. And they were concerned about that. So that turned things. The second thing was, and I don't know if it was related to that, but Kyrie deciding on Brooklyn. Like, I don't know how much he was ever in on the Knicks, but when it became apparent he was all in on Brooklyn, that shifted things too. Because KD, especially with the injury, didn't want to go there by himself.
Right.
So it's like, if Kyrie's not going there, and Kyrie did grow up, he grew up where I live in New Jersey. He grew up a Nets fan. His father had season tickets when Kyrie was little. So this may be like a dream come true for Kyrie. I know Spencer Dinwiddie's been recruiting him since December. So he has some relationships there. And I think, I'm going to say this too, because a lot of people are killing these guys. I think this showed some self-awareness. All year we've been talking about how KD and Kyrie do not like dealing with aggressive and abrasive media, right? Whether you want to call them sensitive or whatever it is, they don't like it. I think they thought about that. And I think they said, look, in Brooklyn, we can get the benefit of living in New York, playing in New York, without, you're going to have scrutiny because it's Brooklyn and it's the NBA, but without as intense a media scrutiny as we would get with the Knicks. And so I think that played a role as well.
New York City outlets, the Manhattan outlets, are going to cover the Brooklyn Nets.
There's still a difference. I covered the Nets for the New York Times when they had John Calipari. So we covered them hard, but it is still, as you know, it's a difference. But, you know, today's world, you get scrutinized wherever you're at. But I think there will be a little difference in the daily.
Last question before you go. Bottom line, why did Kevin Durant choose the Nets, in your humble estimation? Why?
I think there was nobody else he really wanted to go to New York with that was going to go there with him. I don't think Kyrie was necessarily going to go there with him.
Okay.
So,
bottom line, he chose it because of Kyrie.
But I think there's like everything I said, I think is kind of mixed in there. I think if he doesn't get hurt, maybe he's willing to go there alone. Maybe he's willing to say, if Kyrie won't go, Kemba. You know what I mean? So I think I'm going to say the injury changed everything. That's the number one factor that changed everything.
What's more concerning to me, Skip, not concerning, that's eye-opening, is that Kevin Durant didn't get the max from the Nets, and he already left $57 million on the table with Golden State. So he's leaving somewhere around $65 million to say, you know what? No, they're going to be the favorites again. Kevin Durant comes back in 2 years, not next year, but 2 years. They're going to be the favorite. He said, I want to go play with my friends. I would rather run a title with my friends and be happy as opposed to winning championships with teammates, because I believe that's how Kevin Durant viewed him, because he came along later. We're already in high school. We didn't go through K through, come up to junior high and all that together. He got there, they were already Steph, Clay, and Draymond were already sophomores. The other guys come in, you come in my sophomore year, bro. Yeah, we cool. We gonna get along. You in my homeroom, but it's not the same. I think these guys march. They do things their way, and because we'd been hearing right before the draft, before the All-Star game, that KD and Kyrie are a package deal, and then we saw them talking during the All-Star game, and that's when it really, really ramped up. Skip, like, okay, and they were basically, they wouldn't have their hands over their mouth. They were just talking. And when a reporter asked them about it, it's like, it's just two friends talking. Why do you guys automatically assume? So this had started brewing around a little bit before the All-Star game, and it went full circle. So I'm not surprised. I just felt that the Nets had the better situation.
They do.
Top to bottom. Ownership, the organization structure. The head coach, I believe, is better at the Knicks. With Fizdale, I believe he's a better head coach.
I do,
but
too.
the pieces on the team with the Nets are better than what they have in New York. So for me, KD and Kyrie, nothing surprises me about them, because KD went to Golden State. Nobody saw that coming. And the way Kyrie acted once he got to a situation that he demanded that he be in. He demanded, like, if you don't trade me, Cleveland, I'm tempted to have surgery and sit out for the entire season. So a situation that he fought so hard to get into, he ruined that. So I'm not surprised at all. But KD, it just tells you everything you need to know about KD and his situation in Golden State by doing what he did, taking even less money than what he could have got in Golden State.
How much do you think the narrative, getting away from that narrative of
that was the most important thing for him? That was the most important thing for him.
Which I think you do. If he wins it with Brooklyn, then I think he totally gets away from that narrative. Although I think the narrative was dispelled to a great degree with what happened in this year's playoffs.
I cannot get comfortable with this. I'm shocked by it, much more than you two are. I'm disappointed in Kevin. I think he made a huge mistake. I don't think he'll ever think that, and I'm not going to condemn him for it. But this feels like the kind of decision you make when you want to semi-retire. And I'm not saying that winning still isn't a priority, but you had a chance to go do something very special with the Knicks. They still play in the most hallowed arena in all of sports. And they still play in New York City. And they're the biggest sleeping giant in all of sports, and it's not even close. They haven't won a championship since 1973. And I think in his heart of hearts, he knew, got to do that. I got to do that. If you're talking about legacy, got to do that. But friendship won out.
Yes.
Because he didn't have that close friend with the Warriors.
Nope.
And this is his closest friend. And the closest friend is saying, Kay, I'm going to the Nets. I love the Nets. I grew up loving the Nets. I'm going here. I'm going here. And he kept beating on him until finally KD said, okay, I give up.
Right.
I'll follow you to the Nets. And it comes across to me like of this partnership, the alpha is Kyrie, that he won out. That Kevin could have said, okay, I'll go it alone, or I'll go it with Kemba or Jimmy or whoever it was. But no, it's friendship. And it's sweet on a certain level because I think they're really genuinely tight. But it's childlike to me in that it almost comes across like I want to go spend the night at Kyrie's house. That's where in the end I want to go there. And Mama said it's okay. She said it's okay if I want to go spend the night at Kyrie's house, but I'm going to go spend it over there in Brooklyn, and I'm tired of fighting. It comes across like Kevin saying, I'm tired of fighting. I fought with Russell, and he loved Russ off the court, but they fought on the court like crazy, and he couldn't make peace with that. And then he had to fight with Draymond, and he had to fight Steph's legacy in Golden State. And after a while, he just said, I'm tired of it. I don't want to have to go fight for the Knicks. And again, they have a horrible culture, and they have the worst owner in sports. I get that. That's why that would have been the crowning achievement to his career if you can win in spite of James Dolan. But David Fizdale is really good at what he does. And I think he'd be really fun to play for.
I think their front office is good. You mentioned
Scott
James
Perry.
Dolan. Yeah, Scott Perry, the GM, Steve Mills, president. I think they've revamped that front
I
office
do too,
to be
okay?
a good job.
And by the way, Sean Marks is just a flat-out stud. And if you sit with him for 2 minutes, you'll be won over.
Right.
And I'm sure Kevin was won over. So I got that. I'm understanding that, but it's still the Clippers of New York. It's still in Brooklyn, and it's not playing the Palace. It's not like I want the bright lights of New York City, the city that never sleeps.
Does KD understand that Kyrie is more like Russ than he thought? Minus the assist
but he's
and the
a
rebound.
lot different too, though.
He doesn't assist the ball like
he's
Russ.
somewhere in the middle. It won't be like playing with Russ. Kyrie, I think, is a smarter player. I think Kyrie's going to be the 1B. Like, Russ would never just be the second guy or the 1A.
Right.
Kyrie's been that to LeBron, and his
he hated
personality may be more of an alpha.
And he hated it.
You could be right, and they might come to hate playing with
Remember, he was that second.
He going to be that to KD, but KD's not going to bring the ball up as much as LeBron did.
Let me ask you a question. Let's
all
just
that.
say for the sake of argument, Kyrie gets there, he drops 28, 6, and 5, gets him to the playoffs.
He better get them to the playoffs.
And KD comes back. Oh, he going to go to 1B, huh?
He's not nearly as good as Kevin Durant.
He wasn't as good as LeBron.
And they won a championship. And he called LeBron and apologized. He's more mature. I think he's learned.
He called after the fact. Because that's easy.
Now, this is nothing like Russ. Kyrie's game is much different than Russ's. Much different than
he
Russ.
doesn't assist the ball. He doesn't rebound the ball. It's much different.
But just because you get a high number of assists, Russ' usage rate is so high, of course he's going to get a ton of assists.
Kyrie got those?
It's not as high as Russ's.
Right?
Hey, trust me on this. KD and Kyrie are at the top of the list of Moody. They're at the top of the Moody list.
So what happens with that?
I don't know.
They're going to be tough. They're going to be good. They're going to be great. I'll say this, Skip, about the whole New York Knicks thing. And you're not from New York. I'm not from New York. I do think it's overblown. Like, when I got to New York to work as a reporter, I was shocked how Knicks reporters and people in New York thought the Knicks were this special national franchise.
They do.
Like, they think they're the Lakers or the Cowboys or the Yankees, and they're not. So I agree with you. In New York, and because New York still dominates the media, there would have been something more to winning with the Knicks. But for the most part, nationally, I don't think people are looking at it as, like, the Knicks aren't like the Lakers. Like, the Lakers are so great and the Clippers are underneath them. Brooklyn, I think around the country, people won't look at it as all,
I'm just
necessarily
talking about
the
how
stepchild.
New York City would explode if the Knicks
It
were
would.
yeah.
I've been there. We saw Linsanity explode, just because it was New York. Right, yeah, for 2 months. But they gonna be nice. Trust me. You're trying to speak evil on them already.
I know who they not gonna be tougher than.
Well,
Yeah,
all
you
they got
know
to
that.
worry about is the East right now.
Yeah.
Great
Hey, come take
stuff,
that
gentlemen.
slack.
we talking about the Clippers?
Don't do
Chris,
that.
we're going to get you to stick around with
Don't
this.
do that.
Because we've got another great segment talking
Yes,
about New
we
York.
do.
We're going to switch to the other coast. Is Kawhi Leonard going to wear the Lakers purple and gold this upcoming season?
Stop hating.
No.
No mercy.
The looming question now, where will Kawhi Leonard end up? Chris Broussard
That's
still with
unnecessary.
us, hanging
That's
with us this
unnecessary,
morning.
Skip.
We know what Shannon's answer is, Chris, but what's your prediction?
My answer is the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, it's not 100%. It's not a done
It
deal.
is wishful thinking,
But
but
I'm
it's
going to
okay.
leave a little space for the Raptors and very little for the Clippers, but a little. Yesterday, Kawhi group, camp, whatever you want, they called Magic Johnson several times when Magic was in church. And Magic gets out of church and gets the messages, and they told him what they were looking for. Some trainers, training staff, couple people, our people on the staff. Will he get the same treatment within the organization as LeBron James gets? And, just the things,
All that.
the things they want.
All that.
Do they read the news stories of late? Did they actually follow that Magic quit on the Lakers
Look,
and then trash the GM of the
still
Lakers?
Magic.
Hold on. If
Did
this
they-
happens,
It's because
there are
of
going to be two people they should thank, the Lakers and all of LA. Magic Johnson and LeBron James. And by way of LeBron, kind of clutch, but Magic Johnson and LeBron James. That's who's orchestrating this whole thing, real talk. And the thought that if it was true that Jeannie thought about trading LeBron is crazy, because they're the ones getting this done. Believe that
Jeannie.
the respect LeBron has around the league.
Respect.
And then Magic is Magic. You're right. I mean, he obviously doesn't. They should pay him a consultant's fee or something, because
They're going to bring him back? Or
Nope.
they're gonna...
look, as long as Jeannie does not mess it up in the meeting, because she's going to meet with him, as long as she doesn't mess it up, and I don't think she will,
Keep your mouth.
then they will, I believe they'll get Kawhi.
I'm sorry,
told-
we don't do those things.
Oh, yeah, we just.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at you.
Can you imagine that?
at you.
mean, I believe he'll end up with the Lakers. They're his first choice. Now, the Clippers, I'm told there's the concern on Kawhi's part of who's the second guy. Like, is there enough? Now, to me, Kawhi is a made man. Like, the criticism people leveled at Kevin Durant when he went to Golden State, you can't say that about Kawhi. Kawhi has proven in a Big Three era that he can lead a team with no other superstars or stars to the
They
championship.
had about 4 stars.
No, Skip. That's unnecessary.
Stars averaging 8 points a game.
Yeah.
Revisionist
But
history.
he is a made man, so he can do whatever he wants. Now, let me look at remember this, though, about the Clippers. Kawhi could have easily said weeks ago, well, not weeks ago, but as soon as the finals are over, I want to go there, talk to the Clippers. I want to go there, get me Kemba. Get me a second guy, whether it's Kemba, whether it's Jimmy Butler, Al Horford. The Clippers would have made it happen. So that tells you the preference has been the Lakers. He grew up a Laker fan.
He did.
Toronto, I'm going to leave him a little chance, a little wiggle room. But I think this is a lifestyle. He wants to be in Southern California. And Toronto, Lou Williams, we saw what Lou Williams said last week. And this is, Toronto fans, Canadians might not like it. It's tough for American players to live there. And I love visiting Toronto.
So do I.
Me too.
But I would not want to live there personally. It's what you watch on, what you can get on television, the grocery stores. Lou Williams said you got to get a Canadian banking account. You go through customs every time you fly out to a game, like in the United States. So it's just different. And I don't think the Toronto fans, if Kawhi leaves, can hold it against him. I think when he goes back there next year, if he's in a Laker uniform, they have to give him a standing ovation, a video tribute, the whole 9 yards. He might even one day, if nobody else does it, get a statue. I mean, he would be the guy you'd have to give a statue to. So I think it's Lakers, Skip. That's what everything is pointing to.
This is all I got to say.
He's never
Take it
smiled
away.
so bright.
Hey, I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to talk, Skip. I don't want to hear what you got to say because I already know what's going to happen about 6 o'clock this afternoon.
So
I'll let you to go ahead and go.
He said it was a 97% chance that number 2 would sign with the Lakers by 6 p.m. today. Are you at that stage? Are you up 98, 99? Where are you?
I'm probably not that. I'm 94, 95.
95.
I think, look, I want to leave a little wiggle room, but everything is pointing. I think he's going to meet with LeBron and AD or talk to him or meet with him. But
the guy, the diva. Why would somebody want to play with a diva?
Wait, I thought it was my turn.
Okay, your turn. Your turn.
I am hoping the most I've ever hoped. I'm not going to say I'm praying because I don't pray for these kind of things, but I am hoping beyond hope that he does to both of you what he did to me in San Antonio, that he leaves you both high and dry because both of you got your hopes sky high. You're coming out of the chairs now because your man LeBron's going to have double help. He's going to have 2 guys to save him and prop him up next year. And I'm just hoping.
Which guy are you going to be against or with next year?
I'm hoping that both of you, by tomorrow, are calling him number 2 the way I do because he's on your you-know-what list, you know? He's on your list.
Look, I've thought all year he was going to the Clippers.
Yeah.
So I'm...
Okay? And he has said as late as last Friday, I think, he's got to go back to Toronto. Am I right?
Well, no, you asked me when they found out they cleared that max slot. I said, give it to Kawhi. But if we can't get Kawhi...
Then you backed off that. Let's just spread the wealth out.
We spread it. Because I didn't think Kawhi...
So-and-so and so-and-so.
But after speaking to a few people, and it became painfully obviously that Kawhi Leonard was a very, very viable option.
Okay. So now it's become, it sounds like, this death match between Lakers-Clippers, right? Because somebody's going to get left.
Actually, it's between Toronto. And
Well, I don't know about that. I'm going to say this one more time. The Clippers, it sounds like, are going to get their meeting. Am I right about that? You think they're going to decline to even meet with them?
Most likely.
They'll get their meeting?
I think they'll get their meeting.
Well, if they get their meeting, your percent is going to start plunging because these are some of the most persuasive people I know in the National Basketball Association because I do know Jerry West and I know Doc Rivers. They got firepower going on because one is the logo and one is one of the best. He's a top 5 coach in the league. And Steve Ballmer obviously didn't get where he is without a powerful personality. Yeah. And he's got the deepest pockets. And they have been aligning this whole franchise for a year to make this pitch that I think they're going to make today, but I don't know that for a fact.
Guess what? The Knicks have been lining their pocket, lining everything for a year. But let me tell you something about Kawhi, Skip. He's not going to be moved by pitches. You know why? Because there have been so many people around him that tried to get him to change the way he looked. Cut your beard, groom you, do away with the cornrow. And he said, nah.
Nobody ever said that.
I'm telling you,
nobody
people
in San Antonio said that.
We don't listen to San Antonio. I mean, we don't listen to San Antonio.
The team that made you everything you are.
Right now, we Hollywood. We Hollywood. So we don't listen to what y'all got to say.
So the guy who wanted to play in the shadows of Duncan Parker and Ginobili and wanted to play in the shadows in Toronto and sort of rose out of the shadows because nobody's paying attention until he bounced it 4 times on the rim at the end of Game 7, the lucky shot in the history of the playoffs. There's never been a luckier shot.
Skip, he did not get it.
Nobody's even paying attention to him until that moment. It's like, oh my God, how did he do that?
But I want you to stop.
But if that, I don't agree with that narrative, but if that were true, LeBron is there. LeBron's going to still be the face of the team, so he can just go there.
So why would that guy, who so enjoyed playing in the shadows in San Antonio, why would that guy want to join the circus? Because this is the biggest circus in all of sports. It's going to be the brightest, hottest spotlight in all of sports, and it's not even going to be close. and he's going to be the third wheel. And every time LeBron has a third wheel, Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, what happens to the third wheel? The GOAT, as he calls him with big quotes around it, the GOAT needs a scapegoat when the GOAT epic fails, because he does.
I'm being told LeBron said he's going to step back to AD.
I'll believe that when I see it.
I will say this.
It's a good recruiting pitch, though.
I think LeBron should, if they get Kawhi, he should look at this as the Magic Johnson era of his career.
Okay.
He should start playing like Magic and play the point. I don't think they're going to do it, but he should play the point and set up Kawhi and AD.
But I'm going to give you some pushback because I want you to stop trying to this narrative that you're trying to push that he wanted to be. He was drafted by the Spurs. He didn't have a choice because Tim Duncan was an MVP, Finals MVP. So was Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili had led the team to the Olympic gold medal. So he had no choice but to come in and define a role.
Nobody even knew who he was. I'm not even sure he'd gone in the first round if it wasn't for R.C. Buford trading up to get him at 15?
We know now.
Okay. Well, you know now, but nobody knew then.
They should be thankful. They got a championship.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Skip.
He should be thankful.
Before Thelma and Louise, did anybody know who Brad Pitt was? No. Sometimes it takes you a role, and then everybody knows who you are.
Okay, so what's your point?
My point is, he got a little starring role with the Spurs, and now he an A-lister.
They completely rebuilt his shot. He had no shot. He was strictly a defensive player at San Diego State, and they took him and revamped him with the best shot doctor in all of basketball.
We appreciate it.
England.
Skip, we thank you.
And he repaid us by quitting his way out of town. He repaid
you by giving you a championship.
Yeah, basketball backbone.
Did you get a championship out of the deal? Did you get a championship out of it?
We got a championship out of Duncan Parker and Ginobili. That's all.
He was the MVP.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been.
Yeah, he should have.
You know it, and I know it. I can go back and show you. And even the leading scorer in the finals that year. How do you get to be MVP?
Good D. He held LeBron to 28.
Oh, he held him. You laughed at me. You laughed at me when I brought that up. And so now he's injury prone, and you're going to have three guys on the Lakers who are injury prone.
But that's not your problem anymore. Well, the Spurs shouldn't worry about who injury prone.
We don't. We're going to be good.
We got that. We got. Oh, what's the lady's name?
Y'all should start looking at the college ranks and see who you probably draft next year, because it's going to be lottery time.
Oh yeah, and we got Judy C.
Wait, how much can we bet on lottery time for San Antonio? Want to bet on that?
Yeah.
Okay, seriously, how much? What do we?
I'll tell you what you want. I'll tell you what you won't. You won't beat us.
Huh.
I bet you have a worse record.
Wait, Chris Broussard just said, I'm just going to hold your feet to the fire. You just said the Spurs will not make the playoffs next year.
Let me think about it.
Okay, there we go.
Y'all re-signed Rudy. Y'all got Rudy.
But somebody has to come out of that top 7 or that top 8.
What do you mean?
Because the Lakers, like one of the teams that made the playoffs this year is coming out.
Oh, because the Lakers
And when I look at it, Lakers are getting in. When I look at it,
by the way, the Utah Jazz just got way better.
They did.
Way better.
And we're going to beat the brakes off them.
I don't think you're
going to beat the brakes off them.
You might be hitting the brakes hard when you run into those guys.
Skip, you know we're going to win the title, right?
I do.
I'm about to go get a tattoo tomorrow.
Appreciate your time this morning.
You're going to get a tattoo.
We
get Kawhi. I'm going to get a tattoo tomorrow.
Gentlemen, we got to leave it here this morning. We got to move on.
No mercy.
Tomorrow on Fox, Team USA faces red-hot England in an epic semifinal clash at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Coverage begins tomorrow, 2 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Back to the NBA. Over a month ago, Rick Bucher sat right here on this set and predicted Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving would be Brooklyn-bound. Yesterday, that prediction became reality. Durant also had interest in the Knicks, but James Dolan reportedly was not prepared to sign KD to a max deal because of that Achilles injury. We're joined now by Bleacher Reporter senior writer Rick Bucher. Rick, why do you think they chose Brooklyn?
Ultimately because the Knicks were not choosing Kyrie, and Kyrie chose the Nets. And KD and Kyrie had been talking for years since they played on the national team together about playing together. And so ultimately it came down to, as things evolved, the Knicks were willing to pay max contracts to Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant. Kawhi was willing to meet with them, but he wasn't going to meet until the 3rd. And they looked at it and said, well, there's no assurance that we're going to get Kawhi. And if we don't get Kawhi, then we're not going to be able to pry KD away from Kyrie. That's a bad bet. That's wishful thinking. So let's pivot. Let's say we're going to go in another direction. And ultimately, that was the.
Okay, are you
Knicks.
saying the Knicks would not have taken Kyrie?
They would not have taken Kyrie for a year. They did not like the idea of him leading their team for a year, waiting for KD, ultimately. They weren't willing to see Boston 2 happen on their watch.
Okay, so you're saying there was no choice left but for KD and Kyrie because Kyrie was already pro Nets.
Absolutely. It was
right?
basically those two looking to play together and the Knicks looking at the idea of Kyrie being their leader for a year, waiting for KD, and still some question in terms of what's KD going to be when he gets here. But ultimately,
Do
we're
you
a
think
7.
the Knicks were able to tell Kevin, you have to pick another co-star?
Yeah, well, that was it. I mean, that's why you got the news late about Kawhi and KD possibly joining up, because the idea was, hey, KD, if we got Kawhi, would you switch? And I was told that yes, KD would switch if they got Kawhi. Problem is that after exploring that, they found that Kawhi wasn't going to meet with them until late in the process, and they didn't have an assurance that they were going to get Kawhi. So they're like, if that's what it's going to take and we can't guarantee that we're going to get him, we could be stuck here holding the bag, not having done anything.
And they're still stuck holding the bag. I mean, Julius Randle and Bobby Portis and Taj Gibson, that's not exactly murderer's row. I mean, basically what they resorted back to is 1990s. That's Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason, Charles Smith. That's what they got, Skip.
Except they're not as good as those guys.
Right.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing, though. They're also cognizant of the fact that they're a 17-win team. They have a lot of growth. And yes, if they could get this was basically their approach. We will pay max money for players that we consider max money players. And there were only 2 guys definitively in this class that they saw as that, which is Kawhi and KD. And I agree with them.
Right.
They could have salvaged things and gone after a Tobias Harris or a Jimmy Butler or a Kemba Walker and signed them to max deals. And as of today, people would have said, oh, well, the Knicks didn't get their guys, but they did the next best thing. The problem is they would have been paying max money for guys who are not max players. Right. And maybe they would have won today, but they wouldn't have won down the line. So the fact that they held fire, I don't have an issue with that. And as mentioned, the thing about KD, I've been told by the Knicks, by a Knicks source that that is not true. Did they want to look at the medicals? Yes. Were they unwilling to give him a max contract? I've heard that's not true. The other part of it is
Chris Broussard also said that.
We haven't seen the medicals. Even let's say it was the case where they were willing to do that. I don't know that that's necessarily a bad idea.
No,
because
you want to see the medicals.
Exactly. And you may look at it and say, this isn't the greatest of bets. So we need to wait and see before this really pays out for the Nets.
Go ahead.
So what you're telling me is that Kevin Durant, in the end, prioritized friendship above all else because his friendship with Kyrie, it won the day.
Yes.
That's what happened because you can't tell me, because he was the biggest domino with the most leverage, if he had wanted to expedite a meeting with Knicks and number 2, he could have expedited that. He could have forced that last week. He could have pressured. He could have said, look, let's join forces on the Knicks. Would number 2 have listened to him? I think he would have. I could be wrong.
Yeah, and as I was told with Kawhi would have said, you want to come play with me? Cool. You don't want to come play with me? Cool. Kawhi was good with playing with KD, but it would have been with the Clippers. And KD was the one who was, well, I'd like to play together, but I want it to be in New York. And that was the sticking point between those two.
So most people agree that Kevin had his heart set early on a Knicks, being Knicks, right? Because, and I've just been beating this to death, and I'm going to say it one more time, the legacy move, the obvious legacy move is to go save the Knicks.
Yeah.
Because most people don't get it, but we've been around for a while, and we've been around the Knicks many, many nights, and we get the feeling of what it means in New York, even though they haven't won since 1973. It's the biggest sleeping giant in all of sports, and there's nothing close to the Knicks. And Kevin's legacy could have pivoted on, I just went and won a championship for the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Now, he needs a co-star, and I thought it was Kyrie, but maybe, I get it. Kyrie did not do himself much
Yeah, that last
justice
year in
in
Boston.
Boston.
Nope,
It was
that
pretty
hurt.
ugly.
Yeah, no, it changed a lot. And so did KD's injury. Not only
Okay.
just for everybody on the outside, but for KD. Because everybody is saying, well, KD, you'll be okay on the other side. You'll be close to the same. And KD's asking, but what if I'm not? If he had not gotten injured, the idea of going into New York and saving the day and turning that around, I believe that would have been viable, and we'd be looking at a completely
Okay,
different
so
situation.
to me, from a distance, Kevin got tired of fighting. He fought Russell, even though they loved each other off the floor, but he fought him on the court for all those years in Oklahoma City. And then he said, okay, this isn't going to work. I'm going to join forces with that team that just came back from 3-1 down to beat us. I'm going to go join forces, and maybe it'll work out because we share the ball. We play beautiful basketball. And they did, and it worked. But he didn't really click off the court with anybody. He didn't become close friends with Steph or obviously Draymond, and that bridge got nuked this year. And nothing clicked, and Clay kind of went his own way, and they got along fine, but they weren't close friends. He had one very close friend. He had two. He had DeAndre as well as Kyrie. And all of a sudden, this feels like a little bit of a semi-retirement move. Not that he doesn't want to win with the Nets, but all of a sudden he said, you know what? I'm just tired of fighting. I'm tired of fighting Draymond and Russell. Now I'm going to go with Kyrie and DeAndre. We're going to have fun, man. I'm going to show up every night in the locker room, and it's going to be a blast because we get along great, right?
He loved Steph, and not playing with Steph is still, that was the thing that was holding him back from, do I still go back to Golden State? And ultimately, everything that happened with the injury and the idea that from the beginning of last summer, he was thinking, I want to go explore the next thing. I can't underscore enough how the idea of going to New York and resurrecting the Knicks was the plan going back to last summer.
Right.
And the injury changed everything, changed it in his mind, changed it for the Knicks. I mean, it just had a profound
So you're saying he has
effect.
some doubt about his ability to bounce back and be Kevin. I'm Kevin Durant.
Who he's going to be on the other side of this. He's hoping for the best, but by no means is he feeling confident that he's going to be the same player.
I know who feel confident. I feel confident about somebody.
That's all you care about right now.
Yeah, I really yeah, they talk about
Kevin Durant, out of sight, out of mind.
Shannon-
Right? You don't
Shannon-
have to worry about him anymore.
Shannon is going to be, I have a feeling, is going to be insufferable for the
Yep,
next year.
I do too.
What I
because
do, I ain't bothered
You
nobody.
know who would become the best player on the planet. And we saw him
Yeah, we did. We saw him in the NBA Finals.
We saw him reemerge in Game 5 of the NBA Finals and make his first 3 threes.
Did you-
And then it happened.
Finals MVP.
Yeah.
Who has more Finals MVP? Kevin Durant or Kawhi? Who has more Defensive Player of the Year? Kevin Durant or Kawhi?
Who's the better player,
Which
Kevin
one of
Durant
these
or that
guys
guy?
gonna be healthy in
Yep.
2019? Kawhi or Kevin Durant? Which one of these guys will
You
be on
got
the
such a
Lakers?
huge
Hey,
break.
you
got
He's already insufferable.
It's like the heavens
Unbelievable.
opened and said, here, let there be LeBron. Let him bounce back.
No, but nobody wanted to play LeBron.
Come
Everybody
back,
hates LeBron.
season for the ages.
But you remember Kevin Durant said that, the hullabaloo and it's toxic. Nobody wants to play with toxicity. I know a guy that want to get in the kitchen with all that
So
toxicity.
that's why your guy posted that comeback season for the ages, right? He knew what was coming.
What? What's coming?
Yeah. He knew that number 2 was coming.
Is he?
Right? Is he?
No mercy.
Our friend Chris Haynes says Kawhi Leonard is expected to, quote, ramp up the process for free agency in the next few days. Kawhi is expected to meet with the Raptors, Clippers, and Lakers. Now, Chris Broussard reported that the rumblings of Kawhi to the Lakers are growing stronger. If that's the case, the Clippers, ouch, they will have missed out on all of the top free agents. Rick Bucher still hanging with us this morning. Rick, how much trouble do you think the Clippers are in if Kawhi decides to go elsewhere?
Tremendous. Tremendous. Because the trajectory of their team and the way they were built and what their expectation was that they were going to be adding Kawhi Leonard to the mix. That was their target from the beginning of the year. And whereas the Knicks pivoted and said, you know what, it's a bad bet. Let us look in another direction. Let's see what we can do as a plan B. The Clippers have been all in, and they are sticking by it. So this is an all or none proposition right now when it comes to Kawhi. And I said on this show at one point about Kawhi saying to me, I don't want to play with LeBron. I want to compete against him. Now, some people interpret that as I won't play with LeBron, or I wouldn't like to play with LeBron. It was simply he looked at him as a peer. I want to play. I want to compete against him. We've each beat each other in the finals. Two things have changed because he said that to me at the beginning of the year. Two things have changed. One, the addition of Anthony Davis, and two, winning a championship where he was the lone superstar. And he's basically said, what I've been told is, one, okay, LeBron might have a year or two, but I could stay with the Lakers and I can continue on with Anthony Davis. And now it's my show. And the second part is, this is tough winning on my own, by myself. If I can go with somebody else and get another ring, I'm willing to do that.
Rings.
Wait, you overlooked the LeBron could only have another year or two left.
No.
You okay with that?
No, another year or two left of being the GOAT, like we know it. But he ain't going nowhere anytime soon.
Okay.
Don't worry, don't you worry about it.
So he's going to be a sixth man in 3 years, right? Okay.
There you go. Look, if the Clippers whiff on Kawhi, this will be worse than the Knicks because they're thought of as being a better organization from top to bottom.
They are.
The Knicks are thought of for a building. But if you look at Steve Ballmer, you look at Jerry West, you look at Doc Rivers, and that roster, you're like, man, they took 2 games off Golden State last year with no superstar. Throw a superstar in the mix with that organization, they put my grades say, boy, don't put all your eggs in one basket because if you trip on your way to the market, and that's what the Clippers did. They put all of their eggs in one basket, and lo and behold, they didn't stumble. The Lakers just came and took their basket. So all the eggs that they were going to get for profit is going to us now. We making omelets. Skip Bayless, this going to hurt. This is going to hurt you. You right. I'm tired of you. I'm going to be you know how you are with the Cowboys? How about them Cowboys?
You better get all you can
I just want you to know.
Because my Cowboys are coming.
Come October. How about them Lakers? Did you see what LeBron? Did you see Kawhi? I mean, Kawhi had that thing going so good last night. LeBron and AD said, I don't even want to play no more. Kawhi, go ahead and take it over. You know what's going to happen.
They're all going to get hurt. They're all going to get hurt. All 3 of them. That's what's going to happen.
He got a voodoo doll, Rico.
I don't need a voodoo doll.
Yeah, you do.
I just got history on my side.
All I know is I got 30 cases coming. Because I told you we going to win the NBA title. And I can get the 30 cases.
Oh, God. So, you know what the curveball catalyst was last night? The biggest shock of the night for me that made all this conversation possible, made you come up out of your chair, was that Jimmy Butler landed in Miami.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming because it came out of nowhere, sign and trade to Miami for Josh Richardson. I'm like, what?
Yep.
Because that cleared the decks for you to gloat.
It did.
Because all of a sudden, Jimmy Butler was the co-star. And I'm thinking, okay, so KD went to the Nets, so all that talk about KD number 2 and Clippers, okay. But it's got to be now, it's got to be number 2 and Jimmy Butler with the Clippers, right?
Yeah.
It was just obvious. Oh, that makes sense. No, it doesn't. He wanted his own team in Miami.
Yes.
He wants to be Dwayne Wade the second. And that's his idol and his mentor. I'm going to take over for D Wade.
There's also some of it is, and this is always the danger, when you make it clear, this is the guy we're going after. Oh, we can't get this guy, and then you pivot to the next guy. There's ego involved.
You're like, since you didn't get him.
It was, now you're going to come after me. I have to imagine that was some of Jimmy Butler. Miami was on his original list, as were the Clippers.
Sure.
But Miami was, with the influence of Dwayne Wade, hey, come down here and be our guy. And so that over, hey, we weren't able to get KD, we weren't able to get some of these other guys. Can you come so we can get Kawhi? I think Jimmy read right through that.
So laugh at me if you want, but I'm going to say this one more time. If number 2 is, if he actually shares the space with Doc Rivers and Jerry West and Steve Ballmer, maybe this afternoon, somewhere in these regions right here in Southern California, I don't know where they would meet, but if the Clippers get to make the presentation they have been preparing to make for 1 year, maybe longer, Do you know how much has gone into this moment for them?
They hired Lee Jenkins
Lee
just
Jenkins,
for that fact.
by the way, from Vanderbilt University, another Vanderbilt.
That's
alum,
unnecessary, Skip.
And the finest writer of profiles in the NBA.
He wrote
for
LeBron
Sports
returned to
Illustrated.
Cleveland.
And they hired him as their director of research and identity. And it was because of this. It's all presentation for this guy. But they don't have a dual presentation for a co-star. It's just pretty much
You know
him.
what,
And they, maybe a little desperate, they said, let's go get Patrick Beverley. Let's just make sure we got him for next year, right? 3 years, $40 million.
But you know what they can't present? The colors of purple and gold.
No, they cannot.
They can't present LeBron James
Okay.
or Anthony Davis or the Lakers.
This is the one element here that I find interesting is one, Anthony Davis has said, I'm going to explore free agency next summer. And I would not be surprised if Kawhi Leonard signs a short-term 1-and-1 because it allows him then to sign a supermax that's even bigger.
Which is what you proposed that he do with Toronto.
Right. So it gives him the potential that, yes, everything looks like it's rolling the Lakers' way. And this next season could be a
Championship.
bonanza for them.
Okay, so Rick,
But
explain
if
this
it's
one to me.
not, but if it's not, they do have pieces that can say, this wasn't what I expected it to be.
Okay.
And so I don't know how long. There's the potential, if this season does not go right, that this resurgence is short-lived.
Tight. I'm sorry. You know, it might go a little wrong.
I have to
Instead
do
of sweeping it-
something to slow him
instead of
down,
sweeping
just
the
a
NBA
little bit.
Skip, we might let somebody win a game in the NBA
One
Finals
game?
instead of sweeping. We might go 16-0 in the playoffs. That's what we're gonna do. In first time in NBA history, we're gonna do something not even the Warriors or the Shaq Kobe Lakers could do. 16-0 sweepstakes in the playoffs.
Skip, my condolences.
It's not over yet.
It's over.
So let's get this straight. So number 2 and his team requested the first phone interview with the guy who quit on the Lakers and then trashed the current GM of the Lakers, and his name obviously is Irvin Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
So he wanted to talk to him about what? About the dirt? About how bad the front office operates? Is
He's
that what we're
out to
talking
make it
about?
happen.
Huh.
Magic Johnson can make
Really?
it happen. Because I told you, he can serve the Lakers better as Magic Johnson than he ever could as Irving Johnson. Because guess what? He don't get fined for tampering. And he can pick up the phone and call anybody. He Magic, we just friends, we homeboys. So that's what he did.
So he's back in all his glory
Yep.
now. He's Magic. And as soon as he got the phone call, he just leaked it like crazy.
I think our first show should be there. We got to have a 30-minute show, Skip. 30-minute show tonight, the season open up.
Really?
Yeah, with old Kawhi, LeBron, and AD.
Really?
I can get them to come by and say hello.
Well, so one will play at a time because the other two will be hurt.
Don't worry about that.
So they'll just take turns. I'll play 10 games and then I get 20 off.
60, 22.
Right?
So our final NBA record would be 76-22.
Really?
Yeah, we're gonna be 60-22 in the regular season and 16-0 in the playoffs.
Wait, I'm not sure the math added up, but it's
76-22.
Details. Skip.
76-22.
Now say it again. I got to
We're
write
gonna be
this down.
60-22 in the regular
60 and 22.
and then we're gonna go 16-0 in the playoffs.
Oh, I see.
total
Okay.
is 76.
Okay.
76-22. That's gonna be our record.
Okay, 76. I'm writing that down.
I knew this was going to be bad. I didn't know it was going to be this
And
bad.
we have 30 cases bet on that.
No, we got.
Would you like to put 5 more cases just on this
We got
record?
30 cases bet on the NBA title. That's what we
Okay.
got to take. Yeah.
Okay, I got the under on this record. Is
No.
that possible?
I don't care what the record gonna be. But we gonna win that
Oh,
title.
you don't care
We got
about
that
what the
title,
record is.
and I got 2 dozen beat.
Yeah. Okay.
I swindled her.
Speaking of Ben
Speaking
Gay,
of that-
we've talked about your favorite teams all morning.
I need Ben Gay, not Ben Gay.
You gonna need to be kicking you all.
I know.
No mercy.
FS1 is your destination for the day's best sports shows. We'll be all over the latest free agency. Catch it all Monday through Friday on FS1. All right, so the Pelicans not going to have AD or Julius Randle next season, but will they actually be better? They're signing J.J. Redick to a 2-year deal, also adding Derek Favors.
Whoa.
Those two will join a team that already has Zion Williamson,
Whoa.
Drew Holiday,
Whoa.
Brandon Ingram,
Whoa.
Lonzo Ball.
Whoa.
The list goes on.
Listen to
and
this, Shannon.
on.
Here they come.
Shannon, be nice. How good do you think my Pelicans are going to be next
You know what? That'll be very interesting. I mean, they'll be fun to watch.
Must-see TV.
They're not making the playoffs, though.
No, they
Zion
are.
Williamson is not taking a team that won 33 games and adding on another 16.
I think she just named like 8 other guys who can all really
Lonzo
play.
hurt.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram hurt.
Oh, really?
Okay, but anyway.
Not now.
JJ Redick. Skip. So, look, I think they're going to be, fun to watch. I mean, Jenna have a great time reporting from the Smoothie King and how Zion dunked the ball from the Raptors.
Yeah.
The Raptors. But guess what, Skip Bayless? No playoffs for your team. Sorry, Jen. My team.
Wouldn't it be funny if the Pelicans next year had a better record than the Lakers, even with number 2? That would be funny. I know. I got a feeling. I just got a feeling. I like this lot.
It's your stomach hurting. That's the feeling you got.
This roster really shaped up because you got a real GM in that chair right now.
Oh, yeah, I love Dave. I love Grip. Love big money Grip.
Woo.
But guess what he doesn't have?
Do you realize that J.J. Redick could have gone to, 6 or 8 teams, and he said, no, that's going to be the hot place
That was the first
to
one
go.
put the money on the table.
Uh-huh.
He was hoping that the Lakers.
I think a lot of people put
He was
money
hoping
on
that the
table.
Lakers would come around, but we waiting on something. We got something
Really?
brewing. Yeah.
Oh, maybe he didn't want any part of
We
that
put that thing on
circus.
layaway.
He wanted to go where it's fun, where it's hot, where it's new.
We got Kawhi on layaway for another 2 days.
Wow. When you read that
My granny gonna go pick that thing up for me.
You add Derek Favors. He's 12
Derek Favors,
and 7 right there.
Derek Favors will be the guy. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. I mean, he's a nice piece, but he's a guy, Skip Bayless. He's a guy.
And
he ain't
who
changing
was
nobody's
the
life.
MVP of the EuroLeague Championship Series? Is that Nicola Melli? And
Who's
signed
gonna be a
him.
real force.
Woo.
Yes. absolutely.
Force.
Who was the MVP of the finals?
I forgot.
Yeah.
We about to sign him. And we got AD. Skip, did you know AD is 3rd all-time in PER? Number 2 is LeBron James. And the guy you consider...
I got to tell you, thank you for bringing him up. This team next year will be better than any of AD's teams.
Good.
Trust me, it will be. It's just deeper and better.
And AD teams next year will be better than any other any of these teams that he played for before.
Oh, okay.
We'll
see about that.
Skip Bayless, now stop it.
Huh. When you throw Lonzo and B.I. and Josh Hart into that mix, because Drew Holiday is an all-star.
Which one gonna guard Bron?
Any of them.
Which one gonna guard old Kawhi?
Yeah, any of
And
them.
what you gonna do with AD?
Huh? This team can defend. Drew Holiday can defend, and Lonzo, that might be as good a defensive backcourt as there is in the league.
Ooh, they're gonna be great.
Right?
But the defending backcourts, they don't want to see near there that front court we got. Skip, can you imagine LeBron, Kawhi, and AD in the front court? Oh my goodness!
They'll have their hands full with Zion because he does not care. He is not afraid.
We let him shoot.
Yep.
We'll let him shoot anything over 3 feet. We let him shoot.
Wrecking ball. They're going to say, man, we can't deal with this.
AD dunking on everybody's head. Skip,
Really?
y'all a small team. I mean, you got tremendous athletes, guys that can get up and down, but they're a small team.
Is Jahlil Okafor a small guy? Help me out.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you
I
pinning your
think
hopes
he's 7.
Hold on.
What is he,
He's a big boy.
7'1"?
Oh, y'all, hold on.
Absolutely.
Y'all pinning your hopes on Jahlil Okafor.
Well, he's there. He's a backup big man.
You know, I'm looking at your team. I'm like, I think y'all could be the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, yeah, y'all number 1
Really?
seed. Y'all number 1 seed, Skip.
Wow.
Don't be a hater, Shannon. Don't be a hater.
Yeah.
We got this in the back. Okay, Wednesday.
And listen, speaking of height and shot blocking, that Jackson Hayes kid, I know he's just a baby, but he will come along and he will block shots. He will make it hard to get to the basket.
So what you think AD gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, AD is a career 2.2 shot block a night. And then we got Claw. How you get around his gift? You saw what he did to Giannis, right?
Is that a done deal? I don't think that's a done.
You don't want it to be. You don't want it to be a done deal, but it's in the back. It's in the cards. It's
The
progress.
New Orleans Pelicans will make the playoffs next year, and they will be the most fun team to watch in the NBA next year.
Destiny, Skip. You
Yep.
know what destiny is? I'm not talking about the girl that works at the gentleman club. I ain't talking about that destiny. I'm talking about this destiny.
You know that, yeah.
Skip, this is gonna be so good. I'm sorry. I mean, I really feel bad, Skip. I really feel bad for the Spurs and Toronto. But it just happened. It's meant to be. The Lakers should have the best players. The Lakers should be the NBA champs. That's what's going to happen.
J.J. Redick said, I want to play in New Orleans. That's all you need to know. Whew.
And you know who was instrumental in recruiting him? Drew Holiday.
Aha.
He went to the bat for the team. He's really stepped up as a leader. JJ's a big Drew fan.
Yep.
Would you rather have J.J. Redick or Kawhi? I thought you would answer that. Your look tell me that.
I will take
What
JJ
kind of a
Redick.
question
I'm
is that?
What you mean?
excited.
What you mean? What kind of question?
Depth. You want you got star power all down the roster.
You know what? He said he was
Skip, we're going to
considering
make
going
you
back to
an
the Spurs.
honorary citizen of New Orleans. We
No.
appreciate your wisdom and your support.
Thank you.
Skip.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. Kemba Walker is leaving Charlotte and will sign a 4-year deal with the Celtics. This is another example why Michael Jordan is considered to be the GOAT as a player, but his rep as an executive, maybe not so great. Since MJ became involved with the team in 2006, the Charlotte franchise has not won a playoff series. Skip, where is Michael Jordan's franchise now?
As Shannon knows all too well, I am his biggest fan as a player. He has also turned into the worst owner-operator in all of sports, and I don't think it's even close.
I don't either.
Because to Jen's point, he's now been hands-on running this franchise for 13 years. They've made the playoffs 3 times and have not won a single playoff series. And he just started over again. He let Kemba go. He let Jeremy Lamb go. He said, okay, we'll replace Kemba with Terry Rozier, which is, I don't know.
At 19 a year.
Okay, really? And you're starting over again. I don't see any light at the end of their tunnel. I don't see where they're heading. And I feel sorry for the people in Charlotte.
Skip, as much as I want to disagree with you, I can't. You knew you were not going to be able to sign Kemba to the max contract. Why not trade him at the trade deadline and get something for him?
Could have.
That's what great GMs do. They think ahead. I can't re-sign this guy. You knew you weren't going to be able to re-sign Jeremy Lamb. Trade him. Get something for him. What are you holding on to him for? So what if you make the playoffs and you go out in the first round? You need assets, Michael Jordan, and unless, Skip, they can get that ping pong ball where they get a Zion or they get an Anthony Davis. I don't know how this team becomes anything other than what they already are, which is mired in mediocrity or worse than that.
Not even mediocre.
Terrible.
Great stuff, guys. As always,
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.